Who is?
Need your pressure washing supplies fast? PPW Express brings you top brands, always in stock, and a mobile app that lets you order in seconds. Enjoy same-day shipping on every order placed before 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Download the PPW Express app today.
Stand out with custom gear from DAB Marketing. No design fees, no minimum orders. Just premium sublimated shirts built for the service industry. Look professional, look sharp. Get your gear from DAB Marketing.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's well. This is Anthony from the Clean Humor Podcast. Trudy's still on vacation. She will be back hopefully next week. We're going to tell her she can't be traveling no more for the rest of the year. But we're going to cover a topic tonight. It's gas surcharges. Gas prices are high. People's trying to wonder out how they're going to charge the customers and stuff. Do you charge them more? Do you keep your prices the same? We're going to cover some of that stuff. We're going to just sit back, chit-chat with the man himself, the one and only, one of the greatest of all times, my old good buddy, Jud West. Jud, it's good to have you back with us. Sorry everything you went through last week, brother.
Yeah, that's good to be back. It kind of draws my attention away from, mom and that thing, and so it's going to be good, fun, at least to talk pressure washing again.
So you got back to work Monday, ain't that what you told me?
Well, I came back Tuesday afternoon, and we buried Mom Monday, and I took the rest of the day off, and then got back busy, and a lot of people waiting on Flow Pros, and we got a lot of them out today, and we'll get the balance out tomorrow, and a lot of my wash customers are waiting as well, so we got a full weekend lined up for that.
I hear you. I do too. Don't think the wife's gonna like it too much, but that's probably why I don't be out doing washing and painting.
Yes, sir.
Lots. But hope everybody understood the situation and bear with you and everything. Stuff happens, life happens, and we just got to pick up the pieces and go on.
I agree. Everybody was really, honestly, was probably the best customers of anybody. They're all good. So
right.
But anyway, so what do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, gas prices seem to just keep going up. Some people said they coming down a little bit, but me myself, I raised my prices late last year. Told everybody they was going up this year.
Yeah.
So I went up about 10%, a little bit, 10, 15%, just to cover, because didn't really know what was going to happen. All of my commercial accounts I did that with. Now we get into washing homes, that'll be a different story. We can separate the two out ever how we want to do it. But what's your thoughts on it? I know it's been all over Facebook. People just, they really don't know what to do. So
well, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. And this is just me talking, because I don't run numbers like a lot of people do. I don't go into the pennies, which you probably should, but I don't. You've got a couple scenarios. One is commercial, one is residential. Your commercial jobs are usually set. Prices are set. So either you either raise the price, or you do nothing, or you add a fuel surcharge. On your residential, I think you have more option to just raise the price, over last year, and just tell them, prices have gone up, and you don't need to as soon as you put a fuel surcharge in there, you're going to create question and doubt, and it's just an arbitrary number. And how are you going to justify it to them? I think you just add $3 to your quote or $10, whatever it comes up to, and just, I mean, doing nothing is probably wrong unless it's a very short term, a month or two. But you're still losing money if you don't. But it really it's not as big as impact as you think. Your labor and your chemical are probably more I mean, cost more than the gas does, and gas is probably comes in at number three. But I think you got three choices. You do nothing, and or you raise your prices and build the fuel price into the bid or into the quote. Or do a temporary fuel surcharge, and that's the least of my favorite. So that's just me.
Right. If you do the surcharge, I mean, when the gas price, when they come back down, they're going to come down eventually. That's going to go away.
It will, but just having to explain it to me, I think most customers, especially, I think all customers would just see a bottom line number. They don't want to see anything added to it.
Right.
They'd rather, I'll just use $100 because it's easy. I think they'd rather see $100 final bill than $104.50.
Yeah, for gas.
Yep.
Or fuel. I agree.
So that's just me. That's just me. And I'm sure people will pipe in hopefully and give their ideas because, the last 10 days I hadn't had time to get on a whole lot of Facebook and read. And because I like to read comments like that to see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't had a lot of time. Again, my philosophy is let's just build it into the price, and then you can either decide to lower your price later or just keep it where it is, if the market will allow it, and that's the key on that as well.
I'm trying to go back and look because I know I saved some of the comments because I know he's going to do this a couple weeks ago, and your mom got sick on us and everything. Yeah. Try to see if I can't find where that they was just. I mean, to me, especially on residential, my thing is this: if I drive, say, if you go wash a 1,500 square foot house, you usually get $500 for it, and it's 2 miles from your house. I mean, can you not still wash that house for the $500 and still come out good?
Yes.
And so
I think you break it down into tiers, like a 20-mile round trip, a 30-mile round trip, and a 40-mile round trip, and just kind of look at it and see if it makes sense. I think, assuming gas goes up for 4 months, and just say it goes up, and I hadn't thought about this, $2 a gallon from $2.75 to $4.75, you would probably lose money in the 40-mile. Not lose money, but it may be $15 versus $4.
Right.
So, and if you did, 3 or 4 jobs a day, and you did, 4 or 5 days a week, that could add up to a couple $100 a month, easy. Which is now going to be $2,500 a year. So it adds up.
Yeah, I thought I saved some of them, but undoubtedly I didn't because I can't find them. But anyway, we got some people on here. Anthony said he charges a trip charge. It is a separate line item, and it goes from how far the job is from the house. We travel up to 2 to 3 hours away. We have had a travel charge. The guys get paid for when they get in the truck from the time they get back to the shop.
Yep, and that's another thing we didn't think about. You and I are both, for the most part, we work alone for the most part, or I do anyway. And then if you got workers like Anthony does, then that makes, and driving 2 and 3, 4 hours, I could certainly see doing something.
Yeah. Mainly, I quit paying my guys that helped me, I quit paying them by the hour. I just went into this. I pay them by the job.
Right.
Performance pay, whatever you want to call it. They seem to like it a little bit better. It kind of motivates them a little bit to get out there and get the job done a little bit quicker.
Yeah, as long as you can as long as there's an understanding on the callbacks.
Oh yeah.
That's the key with that is if you got a callback, are you paying for that or is it coming out of their pay?
Oh, if I have to go back, they're gonna pay for it.
Or that's so.
Well,
Go ahead. It depends, I think, on the situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just started it, and about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I just got some part-time help to Jared to Brody gets home, and from school this summer, and then he'll be full-time, so he'll be the only one. He seems to thinks he's gonna like it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Than by the hour. He thinks he'd probably make more money that way, which probably can if we keep the jobs coming in and keep lining them up. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, a helper could make anywhere from $500 to $800 a week easy.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
So, that's what we're counting on there. And it just, I try not to charge. A lot of people I've seen it, Jud, they go out and they look at a house like a lake house or something. Go out and look at $1 million house. They're going to price their pricing on that house. I've had people say, I've even said it too, but if you can afford a lake house, you can afford me to clean it. You can afford the price of it to clean it. But still, I don't go out there and say, oh, you got $1 million house. It's going to cost you $5,000 to clean it.
Yeah, I think I think you be consistent, whatever you do, whether it's a 1,500 square foot house or a 7,500 square foot house, use the same thought process, the same methodology, and maybe the same numbers with the exception of, look at the PITA, PITA, the pain in the butt. You factor that stuff in and that's your difference.
Yep.
Some 7,500 square foot houses are not easier, but are easier in some aspects than a 2,500 square foot house that has certain things, PETA's in the way, So, I think you look at that, just be consistent with your customer. That's the key.
Yeah. Just and being flat, being on a hill. I mean,
Yeah.
my biggest thing, me out down on the lake by myself, pulling that pressure hose all the way down to the boat dock, 400 foot, and then dragging that sucker all the way back up the hill, or around back to the house, dragging the soft wash hose, which is 5/8, and it's full of water and chem and stuff. I mean, that take a toll on you. I mean, that's some work right there for an old man.
Oh yeah, and then you got to worry about the screened in porches, the bushes or trees, the second floor balconies. There's just 100 things you got to worry about, but as long as you factor those into the job, just be consistent and communicate with the customer. That to me are the I've never advertised ever and washing or the Flow Pro and I've never even. I couldn't run an ad. I wouldn't even know how to run a Facebook ad. And
Little girl.
Well, when I started, I started on commercial. I didn't do any residential, and I called on the customers I wanted, and I got real lucky real early. And I never had to go out looking for work. And then slowly, customers residential. And really, I didn't even want to do residential until probably 9 or 10 years in, or even longer than that. I didn't think I was mature enough to have a little old lady just watch me wash her house and then tell me I missed a spot and things like that. And it took me probably 15 years before I started doing at least quoting some. I did some anyway, like family and friends, but But going out and targeting residential, it probably 15 years in, if not more. And so, and by then I started just getting referrals, and I've been real lucky in that aspect where I hadn't, I used to have a Google, I mean, I still have a Facebook, a website, and it used to rank number one for years, and that was probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I hadn't even touched it in 6 or 7 years. But it's just, again, I've been lucky, but we also communicated with our customer, and we said what we're going to do, and we did what we said.
Yeah.
So we're getting away from the fuel surcharge, but we're getting into how not to market your business.
Well, the fuel surcharge kind of went out the window, but and Anthony, he said he's been fortunate. He said he ain't had a customer complain for 4 years. So
that's wonderful. But he probably communicated that up front too. Yeah. See, the fuel surcharge now, you're adding it in now because of the fuel prices, and most of again, commercial, most of that is already set numbers. It's $400 a month or a week or whatever to clean a dumpster pad and a sidewalk. And, those are set numbers. Now you got to go back into the manager and or corporate office and say, hey, we have to do a fuel surcharge. And, hey, they'll probably understand because they have to do the same thing with food because food, you got to, their food costs go up because gas costs go up or diesel, and so they understand it, but you got to communicate it. And that's the key. A lot of people are scared to talk money for whatever reason. It's when I first started, I just hated to raise a price on somebody, but now I completely don't have any problem doing it. And, but like you said, if I'm a mile away from the house, my gas, total gas for that job probably ain't $5. Right. And I know I'm making a good lick on it. I'm not gonna raise the price.
Yeah. That same thing, we've talked behind scenes and stuff, and if you have it'd be hard for me to raise a price on like an elderly lady or a single mom that's out here just grinding every day just to provide for her family and her house is dirty. Most likely, if it's a case like that, she's probably gonna get a heck of a deal. Probably one of them close your eyes is what you owe me kind of deal. Because I know it's going to come back to me, but it's just picking your stuff. And I found some of them comments too that Trudy put it out there, and pressure washing business owners. One of them is like cost is going up, but so is our customers. I guess he's talking about the line of customers he gets going up. It's like us this year. I probably washed 4 or 5 lake houses. So it looks like my clientele is going up. So my income's going up along with my clientele because they're higher end people.
Yeah. So you have a higher average ticket is what you're saying. You're changing your customer base to just a higher ticket.
Yeah.
Which is good. As long as you're happy.
Said the increase offsets customers that you might lose.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's about knowing your numbers, which, me and you, we don't run numbers all that often. We know we got money in the bank and we got money coming in.
I know my wife can still spend it. So
yeah. We'll catch heck on this one before long. You had what? Somebody's going to be busting us up for it.
Oh yeah.
And finding that balance between profitability and keeping your schedule full, accepting your customers, appreciating your customers, they feel it too.
Yeah. I think they're going to understand. I just don't want to have to go in and talk about a $4 or $5, $10. It's not much. $10 fee. And if it's going to be long term, I probably would do it. But your residential or year to year, so the price may go up or it may not go up. And I've gone down before. After I did the job, in fact, I've had several times I quoted say $500, and when I got done, I felt like 450 was plenty, and I've done that, even though I could have easily got the other 50, but I don't have customers leave me either.
Right. Here's another one. Another one of the posts that somebody commented on said, so a $500 house wash uses $15 worth of gas instead of 12, maybe an extra 3 or 4 in the vehicle, gas per job. He says he could eat that. The bigger fear is dropping in demand due to economy difficulty or our customers due to gas prices. Which, you know, I went and looked at a couple houses, you know, they just tell me, say, I can't do it right now, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, when you get where you can give me a call. And, but, you know, I also educate them on how we're going to wash their house, how we're going to take care of their property. We're going to tape up their plugs. We're going to cover their ring doorbells up so they don't get stuff all over them and tear them up and everything. And the last thing I leave them with, if you don't choose me, you choose somebody else. You need to make sure they're going to do the same thing, so they don't tear your property up.
Yeah, just compare apples to apples, and that's usually what I do. You know, it is. But if they can't do it now because of money, you know, I try to find other ways. You know, it's not that they can't. I don't know how to say it. I try to find a way to offer less service for less money, and then come back later and do another part of the service, maybe leave the driveway and sidewalk off and just do the house. Yeah. And because you really want to get them, you really want to get to close the job no matter what, if you're already there or you're talking, if you are there, and create that, you know, rapport with them, and create that relationship. And the better you can do that, the better you're going to be.
Yeah, we was on one the other day. When was it? Tuesday. Went and did a roof job, a metal roof, and it was caked up with tree sap and stuff on it. They had a bunch of trees cut down in their front yard. It was hanging over. It was bad. I had a lean-to on it on the front of it, coming off the porch. It was almost solid black. And we scrubbed a little bit on the garage part, and when it dried, but we took the brush, you could see where the brush stopped.
Yeah.
And so I called the customer out there. Somebody's going to have to fix that, which we fixed it. We wound up brushing that whole side of the garage. Told him, I said, I don't know if this stuff's going to come up, and I ain't going to put no pressure on your roof because I don't want to streak it up or take a chance on ruining it or knocking the seals out from underneath your screws and all that stuff. And I said, but I'm going to try to hit it pretty hot and see if it'll break loose. It broke loose, but it took a while to do it. We was there all day long to wash his roof, his house, his driveway, and his barn. And I had to actually come back to town and get bleached. So,
wow.
So it was a job, but it turned out good.
All right.
Mr. Little's on here. We got Anthony. I can't pronounce his last name. I ain't even going to attempt to. If you can see that, you can try to pronounce it.
I can't see nothing. I'm on my phone. I can barely see you.
So, Barry, we're talking about gas prices being up. If you got a question or something, you can chime in there and we get you.
Well, what does Barry do? What does Barry do? Has he done anything due to gas prices?
I think he said he went up. We talked a little bit a couple of days ago in the day, but we really ain't really got into it. Yep, we can find out.
But
I'm sure he's probably typing us a whole list of.
He's got to learn to type short sentences instead of long paragraphs.
Yes, he does.
Barry's one of a kind, that I can tell you.
Yeah, he's good old dude.
Going back to Anthony talking about eating the price increase, and I agree with him. However, if it is say $10 or $12 and you're doing 20 jobs a week, just say $10, so it's easier math. That's $200 a week. You know, and you do that over 4 months. Let's see, that's 200, that's 800, that's $3,200 in 4 months. So I mean, you can see where the $10 adds up.
If I know, if I pull my little trailer instead of taking the truck out, because I do that because it's kind of cheap, a little cheaper for me pulling the little trailer with just the pressure washer on it, and I can always change the tips on it and soft wash with it and everything. And but it costs me, I think if the truck is empty and filling up the tank in the truck, it's like $100 and I'm gonna say $35-$40 probably, maybe a little bit more, because the truck totally empty. It takes $115-$20 to fill the truck up by itself.
I got you.
Barry said he raised his 10% across the board. So whatever his was, if he's doing a commercial job for $2,000, it come out to $2,200.
What's the price increase compared to where it was a couple of months ago? I mean, the actual increase, is it 20%, 50%? I was just curious. I don't know what gas was 2 months ago. I don't even look at it, to be honest, because you gotta have it.
You just go get it. That's the way I look at it. I see people, local guys here, they just talk. They just want to gripe about gas prices, and I'm like, why? I mean, you need it. There's nothing we can do about it. No matter who's in office, they can't really. I don't think they actually can control the gas prices like they say they can. If they could, they would do it. But there's nothing we really can do about it realistically. And so we need it to get around. We need it put in our equipment, and we got to have it. So regardless if it's $3.75 or $8 a gallon.
Yeah, I would probably change my prices a bit with that high, but
yeah, I'd probably just say, honey, I hope the bank doing good because I'm sitting at home. Judge, you running for president?
Why is that?
Barry said he heard Judge running for president.
If I can get off my yacht.
Well, I'm coming to join you this weekend.
Hey, I couldn't tell you last time I've been on a boat, much less I ain't never been on a yacht. So,
man, could you imagine the people griping about putting gas in their vehicles? Imagine what it is on the water.
I imagine it's a lot.
I mean, because back when gas was pretty reasonable on land, I mean, it was like double almost on the water. So, I mean, if you're paying $4 a gallon, it's probably $10-$12 a gallon.
Yep. We ought to see if anybody wants to talk about any specific subject, because we're not very good at talking about fuel surcharges.
No, because we just go out there and watch. I thought it'd be a good topic, but we just talk shit. We just shoot the bull and the breeze, and
we should talk about chemical injector. We should talk about most people that like an 8-gallon machine. Or let's just start from scratch, and I'll just bring it up, and then we'll go from there. Now, what I'm talking about is a standard setup, not a modified injector or nothing like that. What a lot of people don't know, this is a common question. I get calls all the time, and it's got nothing to do with FlowPro. It's my chemical injector. What's it going to pull, and this and that. And they don't realize they had a 4-gallon minute machine, and now they go to an 8 or a 10-gallon minute machine, and they can't understand why they don't get the same strength and of mix. And most people don't realize two basic facts. Again, this is on standard setups, not anything modified. the lower GPM machine you use, typically the stronger mix you're going to get.
Mhm.
And inversely to that, as you go up from 4 to 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 10, uh, you're going down in mixed strength, but you can compensate some of that with running a downsized injector. A lot of people think that it calls for a 2.3 injector. They're going to go to a 2.5 and get a stronger mix, but you're not. You got to go down to a 2.1.
Right.
And to, I would only say go down one size. Uh, like an 8 gallon minute machine calls for a 2.3. Sometimes you can run it. I mean, most people that have a bypass, whether it's a remote like a Flow Pro or if it's a manual bypass, they're going to run one size down. They're going to run a 2.1. And that way you'll compensate for some of that mixed strength loss. While you're applying mix, and then when you switch it back to rinse, you'll get the full flow again. And you actually lose a little bit of distance and a little bit of flow um, while you're applying chemical. But then when you go back to rinse, you get full flow, especially for surface cleaning and rinsing.
Anthony's got a good question. It's just bought a Flow Pro from Panhandle. He runs a 10-gallon machine and half-inch hose on one side of it, 3/8 on the other. What should I do? Should I run it out of the 3/8 or the half-inch?
I'm not quite following the question. So you have one machine at 10 gallons a minute, correct?
Yeah.
Coming from the unloader to the inlet side of the bypass is half-inch. Is that what I hear?
Says run 10-gallon minute machine and half-inch hose on one side and 3/8 on the other. So probably he is running. Probably got the half-inch between the machine and the bypass, and
That's
then
what it sounds like.
and then 3/8 from the reel to the surface cleaner or wand, whatever.
There's going to be a lot of debate on this, what I'm about to say, probably. And I'll qualify the statement. At 10 gallons a minute, running soft washing, not surface cleaning, not high pressure, but washing. I think you're fine at 3/8 cents. Now there can be people that fuss. Now, as soon as you go to high pressure for surface cleaning and wand work, that's where you'll see some issues. You can still get 10 gallons a minute through 3/8 cents, but the longer the hose, the more friction loss you're going to have. And so you won't be getting a true 10 gallons or the same PSI that you probably won't. But just washing a house, I have several customers that have 3/8 inch Flow Pros. Now, I would probably say run half-inch at least to your hose reel or either bypass your hose reel. But I mean, yeah. Did I say half-inch?
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of people run 50 feet of half-inch on the hose reel and then go to 3/8 just to help it out. But on an 8 gallon minute machine, I'd run 3/8 all day long. Now there's people that fuss about that. I got one girl, she's great. I mean, she is great, and but she's adamant on 10 on half-inch on 8 gallons a minute. And all I can tell you is I ran 5 8 gallon minute machines for 19 years, and I was happy as I could be with all of them. So that's putting real world over math.
So on a 10 gallon, you still could run a 2.1 injector?
I would not. I'd go to a 2.3.
Okay, that's what they sent him. He said they gave him a 2.3 injector.
Yeah, a 2.3
with a half-inch Flow Pro.
He does have a half-inch Flow Pro?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's good. So I run a 2.3 because you're going to drop it down one size, and that'll give you it's not going to give you a fantastic mix, but it'll probably give you enough to do. At some point, you're going to have to pull out dedicated pump hose anyway, whether it's a 12 volt, whether it's a gas roof pump, or anything in between, or even a pump up sprayer. At some point, you're gonna have to pull out something that's stronger. X-Jet, you know. So it just depends on, is it 90% of your jobs that you can do downstreaming, or is it 95? So it doesn't really matter, because at some point you're going to have to do that.
I got here's a good one. You like them sud suckers, don't you?
I do like the super sud suck. I use them, and
got a Shannon on here, and he says, "What do you think about the 5153 on an 8-gallon?"
the 5153. I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
So it's a sud sucker.
A 5153. I don't.
Do they make them in different sizes like that or something?
Well, a super sud sucker comes with 4 different nozzles. It comes from a 2.1 to a 2.7, I think. I can't remember. 2.1, 2.3, 2.5, and maybe a 2.7. So I don't know what a 51.
But you run them on your truck, don't you?
Yes, I do. I run now. This is probably going to make a lot of people curious, at least.
Well, you don't make them mad, so you might as well make them curious too. And next time you just piss them all off and be done with it.
The super sud sucker, people swear by the stainless versus brass, and performance wise, there's no difference.
Right.
They both have a stainless orifice that you screw in, and that takes the brunt of the pressure from the pressure washer. The only thing that would last longer, possibly, would be the barb on the injector, the hose barb. One stainless and one's brass. But as far as performance on a day-to-day issue, there's no difference, except for looks. The stainless looks good. I got a stainless, okay, because it looks better. But I also have on one of my trailers, I have 2 brass. So if you can't afford $120, you can buy one for $90. Or if they're out of the one for $120, which is one that usually sells out, the stainless one, they both have a stainless spring. They both have the ceramic ball, and the O-ring in there's the same. Everything's the same except the body and the barb.
But it all comes down for lasting long is taking care of it.
Yeah, and see, I rinse mine out every job.
Yeah, that's what I've been on my help, because I don't think. Let's see, I had that little trailer put together for 2 years now, and I think
I lost you.
So that was, yeah. But I went everything went black. But I've had the little trailer built for about 2 years. It's just a single axle trailer.
Yeah.
Got one with 8-gallon mint unit on it with a 100-gallon tank and a 55-gallon bleach tank on it, hooked up with a Flow Pro. But it's been built for about 2 years, and I just changed the injector on it the other day. It quit on me in the middle of the job, and have a backup for your backup.
Well, and to be honest, I think any injector is going to last long if you take care of it.
Yeah, and the reason it lasts that long because I wash it out every day.
I do mine every job.
Well, I usually do too, but I usually don't have 2 or 3 jobs going on at the same time because I'm mostly working at night.
Yeah, yeah,
or early in the morning.
I got you.
Now we washing houses is a different story. I'll wash it out. But I mean, it's just you got to take care of your stuff. I mean, I learned that a long time ago when I bought my first Flow Pros and had everything hooked up backwards.
That'd be a good story. That'd be a good story to talk about. Because back then you didn't take care of your stuff.
No.
I mean, stuff dripped. and I think I replaced your first Flow Pro. And then the second one did the same thing, and they were hanging from your hose reel, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And you had them below the injector. I mean, the injector was on top, and it was dripping on the actuator and things like that. And by the time you had so many issues with both of them, I said, I'll replace. I think if I'm wrong, tell me. I said, I'm going to replace it. But before I do, we're going to relay out your trailer.
Yep.
And we did. And then you started taking care of your stuff. And you really ain't had it that I know of had any issues.
The only trouble is keeping up remotes in the truck. And I'm never in the truck, in the wash truck. Mine stays in my glove box.
Yeah.
And I bet you right now that the remote to the truck, one of them, the machine that's running at the time, I bet it's in my truck. It ain't in the wash truck. So if somebody had to go get in that truck and go wash, they wouldn't be able to turn the Flow Pro on.
Wow.
I know it is because he had it in his pocket this morning when he got in the truck and he took it and he threw it in the console.
Yeah, that's one of the, that used to be one of the, I know we're changing gears again, but when we first did Flow Pro, that was probably one of the top 2 or 3 problems they had. They'd be on a job 30 minutes away and they'd call me and say, hey man, what can I do? My remote messed up. I said, well, just go to your glove box and get the backup out because we send 2. He said, well, I got that one at the house. But you're never going to wash at the house. You should always keep it with your trailer. And I mean, that was a common. Just put it in your toolbox, put it in your glove box. And luckily, we resolved that with the Gen 5 Flow Pro because now if you lose or tear up your remote, you can just go push a button and it's going to operate. So if you were to lose power, you can go back and you can turn it manually. But so you got 3 ways to operate it now, which is really good because you can run 3 different functions and they all have their own buttons. So you still got to walk back and forth, but you don't have to do anything special and you keep running.
Levi's on here with us. He said, "Yeah,
I knew Levi would jump on. That's why I clarified this is a standard setup."
He said, "Yeah, the brass injector will last very long. I promise you, a 1553 on a 8 gallons a minute, and people will rarely ever break out a downstream system besides Roos."
Yeah. And I agree with that because Levi and I have talked several times, and I actually run one of his modified injectors on my MoFlow, which I downstream with, and it works great. So.
No, Antonio Trudy, she's still on vacation. She went and seen her folks across the pond. She's been gone for 3 weeks, my brother. She'll be back next week.
I can put a wig on.
Oh, Lord Jesus. You want to put a skirt on, too? Oh, Lord. But we are talking inject. We're just talking. We're just trying to kill a little time. Talking injectors. We're just talking pressure washing. We talked about gas prices rising. So if any of y'all guys got any comments on gas prices, everybody said they just raised the prices 10, 15%. Some of them just throw a little $10 gas charge in there on it. Everyone makes you feel better, or a trip charge, contractor's preference. Let's go back to that. So that's what that's going to be. What makes you happy and makes your customers happy, you do that because it's your business. It's not mine and Jud's to tell you how to run it, and that ain't what we're here to do. We just
Going back to Levi, a solid point I think he made the other day, and like I said, I hadn't been on there much, but it may have been yesterday or the day before, is if you're going to modify the injector, which he has a file on his group, pressure, I forgot the name of it, Pressure Washing Learning Center. He's got a file on there and it shows you exactly how to modify it. and he talks about the brass because it's much easier to drill through than the stainless.
Right.
So
What did they just drill the orifice hole out?
we do. It's called the throat. Is what we've decided to call it. What Levi decided to call it, and it makes sense. You do that, and you also do the intake hole where the barb goes, and it's pretty simple. And it works good. It works good.
And it pulls how much more?
It just depends on the size of the machine, the size of your hose, and things like that. But, and as with anything, you need to test it yourself. I've got an 8-gallon minute machine, or I sold it to the guy that bought my business, and that was probably 6 years ago. I modified one because I've been trying to do this for years, and I didn't have the time or the knowledge or the willpower knowledge or whatever that Levi had. But I modified one, and I don't know what I did, but that thing pulls probably like he's talking about. This guy can wash just about anything with his 8-gallon minute machine. And if it ever tears up, I mean, that was 6 years ago. He's still running the same one.
What?
Yeah. And
you might have to fix me one of them up.
I don't know what I did.
Oh. Man, Jud, you're supposed to remember them things, buddy.
Yeah, you start doing so many things, you forget which one you did. And I'd write up on there, I'd write the stuff on the injector, and the next thing you know, it gets rubbed off and things like that. But Levi's got it figured out. He's got a file that shows you all that. I mean, it's really good information. So I would encourage people to look at that if they want to modify their own. Now, it probably will outdraw a super Sudsucker, but a super Sudsucker works really good.
I was going to get some of them at PWNA and wind up getting sick that Friday morning and didn't even go over there.
Well, they sold out. They sold out, and they were sold out in the warehouse too. Because I ran out, and because I sell them for them, and I ran out and I couldn't get them because they were out. But EnviroSpec is really good. They're good to deal with. Good people, and
it seemed like they was. It sounded like they was really nice.
Yeah, they Dan and Iris and Dan's wife Heather. She doesn't work in the warehouse much or the shop much, but she is there some. They do a tremendous job, and Dan used to be. He's a past president of PWNA. Dan is as good as there is.
Yeah, he threw us an example up here. Levi did. He says 8 GPM high pressure machine running a 2.1 injector orifice stock 0.45 GPM Sudsucker 0.56 GPM 1553 0.9 GPM. I have no idea where he's going with all this, but 1917 1.2 GPM. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
1553 pulls 62% stronger
Yes.
than the Sudsucker. A 1917 pulls 100% stronger.
Well, if he says so, I'd have to test it. Each machine's different. Each setup's different. So, it may do it, say, in his setting, set up and testing all three in one location at one machine. But as soon as you get out and go to your machine versus my machine, you got different setups that just some have longer chemical lines, some have different angles and 90 degrees and things like that. So it changes. Yeah. So, and I said it earlier, the best thing you can do is you have to test your equipment, and that way you know where you are. We modified the injector that I did, and it's set up. It'll pull 2%, but I can turn a valve and have it pull 1%. And that's typically what I do, is just have it pull 1% because I have it set up on that new Gen 5, and I can push a button and go to 6% and never go back to the trailer. So, or wherever I have it set, I can go to that. But
most
good.
of the
I
time,
think
you don't need nothing more than a 1% anyway, especially
no.
cleaning houses.
Yeah, usually you don't. But sometimes you'll get to the north and northeast sides, or either it'll be, even if it's drive it or the fake stucco or stuff like that, you'll need a stronger mix. And it's nice to pull out one hose and do everything.
Oh yeah.
And there's probably not 5 people in the world that downstream with the MoFlow or something similar. There may be more now, but there wasn't. And you can, I mean, Levi's the one that figured that out. So,
But are you pulling more with the MoFlow than you would just a regular 8?
well, I run my MoFlow at 300 psi. It shoots about 65 feet, and I pull 1% or 2%, whatever I have it set at.
Right.
Now, once it's set, it's going to run that for the job, and then I can also upstream at the push of a button with it. So realistically, it's a dedicated pump and a downstream pump, and I primarily downstream with it. That way, I'm only running water through my MoFlow. It's almost 2 years old, and the only money I spent on the MoFlow is planned oil changes, and so I've had zero downtime with it, and I've probably just on that one machine, probably in 2 years, somewhere around $300,000. It's we. I bought it for a big job, and I love it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've used every pump you can use in our industry, with the exception of the booster pump, which a lot of people probably don't know what that is anymore.
That's kind of obsolete, ain't they?
I don't know. People may still use them, but that's the only one I've never had an interest in. But I've used 12 volt. I mean everything, even XJet, and
Is it something like you got on your trailer? It's kind of like a booster pump.
well, that's a Pump Tech X6. That's on my old trailer. I don't use it. We hadn't used it since I got the MoFlow. We hadn't used it at all that I know of. I assume it still works, but and again, the MoFlow, we take care of it, and also, I don't upstream all the time. I mean, I just rarely do I upstream except for a roof or something really nasty.
Explain the difference there between the upstream and downstreaming.
Upstreaming is you're pulling chemical through your pump. It's made for chemical,
Right.
and you can go, however you have it set. I mean, theoretically you could pull straight bleach through there, but we run through a manifold and we set it for 6%, but it varies based on how full the tanks are and things like that. But you can't really, as you go down in percentage, say you want to go down to 2% on the upstreaming, you're going to have a hard time being consistent with that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really good to downstream with the MoFlow. So I pull that one hose out. It's very light. I use 1/2-inch hose, and I can work around the whole house, like I said. And if you have a really bad brick fireplace or a roof, you're doing a roof, you don't have to go back and get anything. You can do it all from there.
It looks like Paul Lewis has jumped here on us. Showed up on my phone and ain't showed up on the computer yet. What do you think about it? What do you think about the little Flow Pro? What are they calling that?
The
roof pump.
The low flow. Low flow. Well, I think we ought to. If Paul Lewis is there, we should talk about their new machine they introduced. That does both high pressure and low pressure. I forget the name of it. But I run, on my MoFlow, I run, right at 9 gallons a minute. When I first got it, it was right at a little over 12. But I lowered I lower the RPM, so I run about 9 gallons a minute. So that's plenty for what I do.
So PSI come out with a dual.
Yeah, don't they have a dual? I forget the name of it. Paul, hopefully we'll type that in there.
I didn't know PSI had one of them.
So
interesting.
And I don't know the name of it.
Did they have that thing down there at
Yeah.
Orlando?
Yeah.
Huh. I missed that.
I was trying to find it while we're talking. Anybody else have any questions?
I think they questioned out.
Well,
Shannon said that was good information from Levi. Got him on his Facebook. Glad he brought it up. Learned a lot from y'all. I guess learning a lot from all of us. But that's good. Thank you, Shannon, for tuning in and paying attention and listening.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I guess Paul must have just hopped on and hopped off because he ain't doing no activity.
All right.
So I'll get in contact with him. Maybe we may get him on here.
He should definitely get on because they got the PSI. They do great stuff. And I don't know if people know Paul, but I mean they do great stuff.
I like Paul. Paul pretty cool.
Yep. All right.
Called him and talked to him a few times about a few things and stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. Gas prices going up, and we talked about that. We talked about injectors tonight. Glad Judge finally got back with us and back washing and everything, and went through everything.
It's breaking up again, stuff.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, you there?
Well, we're back.
Yes, I can't.
Well, anyway, we keep going in and out, breaking up. So we got like about 3 minutes. So we just wrap it up tonight. Jud, it was good to have you on here, brother. And I hope everything's well at home and keep up the good work. And we'll talk to you sometime tomorrow or later on this weekend.
I can't hear.